If you are going to do KDP successfully, there are some vital things that you must know, one of which is bleed and no bleed. I know this might sound strange to you if you are new, but don't panic. This is why I'm creating this video. So in this video, I want to explain to you what bleed and no bleed means and how it affects your publishing business. These two terms are used when you are formatting your book and when you are uploading your book. If you've never uploaded before or you've never formatted a book before, you might not understand what I'm talking about. But don't worry, I'm going to explain it explicitly such that you will understand with graphical representation. If this is your first time on my channel, welcome. My name is Legal Naira, and all I do every day is to put a smile on your face and money in your bank account by teaching you different legitimate ways to make money online and offline. If this is something you're interested in, like this video, hit the red subscribe button and turn on the bell notification icon so that the next time I post awesome videos like this, you will be notified instantly. Now, what is bleed? Let's quickly rush to Google and see the definition of bleed and no bleed. This is Google, and we just asked, what is the difference between bleeding and no bleeding in KDP? And it reads, a properly formatted print book with no images should not have any need for bleed, so you should not select it. Now, what this is saying is that when your book does not have bleed, there's no point telling Amazon that it has bleed when you are uploading it. I know you might still get confused, but don't worry, I'm going to explain everything using a graphical representation on Canva. It continues by saying a bleed is basically extra image that will extend or bleed off the end of the page to prevent having a strange, unprofessional looking border around the edges of your image. What does this mean? It means that if the entire interface of your book is covered with a text or an image, then that image is said to have bleed. But if it is not covered, such that the image or text is just positioned in the middle of your page, that means the book is a no bleed book. Now let's get right into Canva. Let me explain this with a graphical representation. As you already know, I always like to use the free version of Canva whenever I'm creating videos like this, because I understand that not everyone watching this video has the pro version. So for the benefit of those that don't have the pro version, I always use the free version so that you can do exactly what I do, click exactly what I click, and achieve exactly what I have achieved. Let's take, for example, our image size is 6:9. The first thing we want to do is to click this plus sign, then click on custom size and then select 6:9. As you can see, you change this to inches and then you click 6 here and then you put 9 here. Then you click create design. Immediately this is done, a design interface or design canvas would be created for you. Now, let me explain what bleed means. Let's start with bleed. In the definition I just read on Google, it says that bleed is when the image or text flows around all the edges of the book. Now, let me put an image inside this design interface and use it to explain bleed. Let me go to elements and search food. This is a picture of food. I just want to pick one to explain this video. Let me pick this one. As you can see, we have this image on our design interface. Now, according to the definition, if the image flows across all the edges of the book, that means it is bleed. Now, let me make this image or this page a bleed page. I simply drag the entire image to cover the entire page of this book like this, such that you won't be seeing any part of the book again or any part of the page again. This image is said to have bleed. As you are seeing it now, this is what bleed means. You might still not understand it until I explain what no bleed means. Let's go to another page so I would explain what no bleed means with this same image. This is a new page. I'll go back to elements and select the same image. this is the same image, and I want to explain what no bleed means. No bleed, on the other hand, means that the image or text does not flow across the entire edges of the page. So let's make this a no bleed page. As you can see, Canva has given me a guideline. This guideline means that no image or text must cross that part. As you can see now, this is a no bleed image or no bleed page. You see that it does not cut across the entire edges of this page. Unlike the first one, it cuts across the entire edges, covering the entire page of this book. While on the other hand, you see that there is a margin space across the four corners of this page, and this is said to be no bleed. Why this is bleed? To help you explain further, let me quickly write something inside this page so that you will understand better what bleed and no bleed means. As you can see, we have big boys don't cry. If this text flows across the end of this book like this, you can see that according to our bleed definition, this is bleed. Even if we delete this image and then we have text like this flowing across the edge of the book or the page, this is an example of a book or a page that is bleeding. On the other hand, if we move to the next page, you will see that everything, text or image, is inside this margin. It does not flow through the end or the edge of this page. I hope I've been able to demystify and break down what bleed and no bleed means. So as a beginner, these are the things you should know and understand when you want to start creating your book. According to Amazon, if you are creating a book with bleed, you must create provision for the bleed section such that when Amazon is printing it to be delivered to the customer, they are not going to cut off relevant or important parts of your book. So if you are going to be creating a book with bleed, you must add 125 to the height and 0.25 to the width. For example, let's create a new design, custom design, and now we want to create a book with bleed. The inches will now be, instead of just 6 by 9, which is for no bleed, for bleed it has to be 6.125 by 9.25. The 125 and the 0.25 are the provision for bleed. Then you click create. Once you do that, you have created position for the margin that will be trimmed off when the book is being printed. This way, you can now have your image cover all edges of this book, exactly the way I explained earlier. Now, once you do this, your book will pass Amazon review. But if you don't put this 0.125 and 0.25, I tell you, your book is going to be rejected, because for every book that is to be bleed on the Amazon platform, you must include this little margin to it. I hope you understand. If you enjoyed watching this video and you learned something new today, give this video a thumbs up, hit the like button, and subscribe to my channel so that the next time I post awesome videos like this, you will be the first to get a notification from YouTube. You know that my updates are always up to date. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.